there, functional activity, says an additional code from Chapter 4 may be used to identify functional activity associated with the neoplasm. Also, when you look at D35-1, this will probably be another clue for you that it's a endocrine. Right underneath there, it tells you use an additional code to identify any functional activity. Also, if you have trouble, if you're like me and you're like, is that an endocrine gland or not? Don't forget you have a picture in the back. A lovely picture on page 9 that shows all of the endocrine glands. Now, was there a problem with E21-1?
No, it's secondary, but I'll actually note
Just checking. Okay, and M81-8. Everybody okay on that one? Okay. Number 8.
C77.5 and C80.1.
Correct. C77.5 and C80.1. And that's because you had direction, right? It said to the lymph nodes. So you know it's secondary with an unknown primary. C77.5, C80.1. Okay, how about number 9?
Well,
Well?
Sue and I don't have the same thing, so my
Okay.
guess is hers is right. She started with the Z08 number, and I started with the Z12.11.
Okay, she's right.
I feel
Okay, Z08. What else you got?
Well, then it says to put a absence of organ, so do we have a code for a segmental colectomy? Okay, I don't have that either then.
Okay, Z90.49.
Christina has that.
Okay,
I do have a history code,
Okay.
Z85.038.
good. All right. Anything else?
Well, Christina has one more code and I don't. so-
Okay.
What
A
is
Z
that?
code?
Yeah,
Okay.
what's your last one
My last one's a procedure.
there? Oh,
92.21.
Z92.21. That's history of chemo.
Oh my gosh.
And then the then the colonoscopy, which is ODJD8ZZ. Okay, so this was a follow-up. They did not find anything, so you are going to use the Z08 to show follow-up to a neoplasm. Okay, then you've got your history of code for colon cancer, which is Z85.038. They did remove a portion of the colon, so you've got Z90.49. There is a history of chemo, which is Z92.21. And then the colonoscopy, which is some of this stuff when you're looking up, you got to know that the colon is your large intestine. I can't remember if that was one or not. That's ODJD8ZZ.
What is Z90.49? Is that the acquired
Z90
absence?
acquired absence of the colon.
Okay.
So on the history of chemo, when does that take effect? Because he's only 6 weeks following surgery. I mean, like that's part of their.
No, he did it for 6 weeks following the surgery.
So when do we start applying that?
After he's
Just
done
as
with
soon
it.
as they're done.
Mhm.
Okay.
What I don't like about that code, and this probably won't bother you guys, but to me, it doesn't belong in history of. To me, history of are diseases that patient has gotten rid of, and I don't understand why it's not under status post. But you find it under history of chemotherapy. So. Okay. And the last one, and we're back up to you, Betsy. I know you're lucky.
Z86.0,
Correct.
Z51.11,
Don't have that one.
C50.311,
Got that.
3EO43GC.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Well, we got a couple. Okay, so E86.0 is the dehydration. That's why they were admitted. Okay. C50.311 is to show that they have the breast cancer. It is still being treated, so you still code it as current. Okay. We also want to assign Z90.11. That's for required absence of the breast because she has had a mastectomy. Okay. Okay, then you have the code for chemo. This time it was in a peripheral vein, and that is 3EO3305. If you coded the rehydration, you would have coded 3EO337Z. However, just so you know, that's usually not coded in the inpatient setting. That's just giving them IV fluids, okay? And they just don't code that. They start an IV on everybody that walks in the hospital.
Okay, do you wanna give us 10 extra points if we took the time to do it?
Well, you never know what I'll end up doing.
I wrote it on the left, but I did not move it to the right.
Okay.
I would have done okay if I would have remembered the one absence.
Yeah. Well, you put that in your brain. Okay. All right. Let's, I think a lot of people, most of their trouble comes with these one site, metastatic single site. So I put up a couple of more for us to try, just so we're familiar with it, and one more over here. So I want you to work on those, and then we'll go over those.
Can you explain the whole, the histology, the number 3, how it's adenocarcinoma? Can you explain that again? My
Number
brain's not
3?
capturing it.
Okay, so the type, the morphology type there is diffuse type adenocarcinoma. And so your goal, should you decide to accept it, is to find out where does that usually start. Because we don't know, right now, we don't know if the kidney pelvis is primary or secondary.
Okay.
Okay, so we're saying, okay, where does this type of cancer usually start?
Okay, so when it says metastatic of kidney, does that not mean kidney is your secondary site because it's metastatic?
No, you gotta look
No? Okay.
to or from.
Okay.
Of just means they have it.
Okay.
Okay, so of, you have to figure out if it's primary or secondary.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so you're saying, where does this usually start? And you're gonna find that under unspecified type.
So it's always gonna be unspecified type if
Almost.
it's not.
Almost.
Okay.
Unless you get one code, remember like renal cell?
Mhm.
Okay, so with renal cell, we just got one code, you didn't have to look at unspecified site. But it still told you the same thing. It says renal cell starts in the kidney. So if we had metastatic renal cell carcinoma of the kidney, you know the primary and you have an unknown secondary. But if you had metastatic renal cell carcinoma of the lung, now you know, it usually starts in the kidney, lung is secondary. Okay, so